Drink Cinema! Cheers. Welcome to another episode of Two Drink Cinema. We are 2 out of 3 brothers talking about gays in the movies and gays not gays in the movies.
Ooh.
Hello, Brett. How are you?
I am subtly queerly. I don't know how to put that anyway. Maybe not that subtle, but anyway.
I am subtextual.
Okay.
Subtextual. Does that
Okay.
work?
I'm sure it'll be in an acronym any day now.
LGBTQIAH plus.
S. Subtextual.
Subtextual. I am neither of those things. Not a sub, nor textual. We are talking about movies that have gay subtext, where they are meant to be gay in the movie, but they couldn't make them gay in the movie.
Or are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or are we as gays just reading way too much into it because of fantasies?
I've got some that fit into that category.
Yeah.
I've got some that fit into there's a few categories that I've put.
Yeah.
And then 5 movies that are actual gay subtexties.
Cool.
It's interesting.
Well, it was really like...
Oh, should we have a drink?
Oh, fuck.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I was just like...
That's the second word in our title.
I've got a pub squash lemon.
I've got a pub squash lemon lime and bitters that's green.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I need a drink, actually.
That's not nice.
Oh. Do you want me to go out to the fridge
No,
and get
it's
your raspberry
fine.
instead? Do you normally drink a lemon lime bitters?
I'm like, I'll have it. I think it's just too much bitters
Yeah,
and not enough lemon lime.
Too much splash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of too much splash, so gays in the movies.
Gays that aren't gays in the movies.
It was interesting kind of history of gays in the movies. So early on, silent film wasn't a problem.
Yeah?
Yeah, like
Gays were
Marlene
okay?
Dietrich was a lesbian.
Yep.
And, you know, people were there and they would have stories and there'd just be gay characters in them. And it was fine. But...
It was the roaring 20s.
Oh, everybody was doing anything.
Could have been the flaming
except
20s.
drinking alcohol.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no one drank
No one
alcohol
drank alcohol
in
in the 20s. That's why they were so depressed. So... But it was always kind of like in there as a joke.
Yeah.
So it was the comic relief. And to be honest, not much has changed in that aspect for some movies. Looking at you, Billy Eichner.
The gay best friend is still there.
So it was always someone to laugh at or someone to pity. Like, oh, that lonely gay dude.
Yeah.
Oof.
Look at that lesbian trying to hit on the straight woman all the time.
Yeah. But then, so in the... kind of the silent film and then the first talkies in the early 30s, the first kind of gay character was called a sissy.
Oh.
So it was like a typically stereotypical flamboyant man that didn't really have a sexuality.
Oh, all right.
So it was non-threatening. So it was fine to have them there.
Yep.
And they would just flounce around kind of like...
Jesse in
Nightmare on Elm Street 2 would just like strut around and flounce around with his arms, and he had little, you know, it was always a skinny white guy with a little pencil mustache going, "Ladies, what are you doing?" You know that.
Yeah. With the piano music changed a little bit more. Beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep.
Yeah. And so then that was fine because then men who were watching that going, "Oh, well, I'm a man because I'm more manly than him."
Yeah, that's true.
So that's fine. And then it's like, so is it better to have that representation or no representation? That was the questions at the time that gays asked themselves.
And that was talked about in the trans documentary that we watched for Rainbow Popcorn last year.
Disclosure.
Disclosure had when they talked about trans representation and the trans characters were always baddies, not the current meaning of the word baddie.
Yes.
Evil characters.
Evil. There was something wrong with them.
Yeah.
They generally died in the end. And that was the same with some of the earlier depiction of queer characters in the 60s and 70s. Generally, if they were a character with kind of questionable sexuality, they died in the end.
Yeah, they did really take a turn 50s onwards, didn't it?
Yeah, well, because the reason it kind of went away and subtextualized was because of the Haze Code that got introduced in Hollywood.
Well, we could do episodes on the Haze Code.
I could talk about it for hours, but we won't. But
Alfred Hitchcock could have done episodes on the Haze Code.
Yeah. So it was...
He would definitely have had a podcast, Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh, it would have just been him talking by himself.
No, yeah, it just would have been him in a room.
Yeah.
Telling scary stories.
Him just going, like, telling me about Squarespace.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine?
And then it would just be like, and then he hit the light bulb, causing the shapes in the room to move in a threatening manner.
Oh, like a radio serial kind of thing.
Yeah, but then
okay.
To in a threatening manner. Do you know what shapes don't move in a threatening manner? The drag and drop editor in Squarespace.
Anyway, and then he sleeps on a sleeping duck mattress.
For anyone that's listening, just note how seamlessly I work to plug in. If any advertisers are listening, no one.
This is not a paid advert.
No one saw that coming.
Yeah, so the Haze Code was kind of the first introduction of censorship into Hollywood. And it was then also... The censorship was kind of be like, have clean taste and community values.
Okay.
On the screen.
Because they were worried about the Nazis.
Yes. So then there was also the Catholic Church had a group called the Legion of Decency. Not as cool as it sounds.
They've definitely taken over that commonsensemedia.com where the parents look up whether or not their kids should watch it.
Yeah. So they would, almost provide like modern day ratings of films.
Yeah.
And then would sometimes boycott it if it was like, no, you can't show that.
Yeah.
So the Haze Code really had a strict thing of what you couldn't show on TV, TV or movies. And they were open-mouthed kissing.
Oh, dear.
Lustful embraces.
Okay.
Seduction. Unconsensual.
Yep.
Abortion.
Oh.
I couldn't think of another word for it.
I was going to say, do you reckon many people were writing movies with scenes of that in it?
Well, yeah. There would have been books.
There would have been mention of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Prostitution.
Yep.
White slavery was bad. You couldn't have white slavery on there, Lee.
Yeah, because black slavery was okay, probably still, according to some people.
Nudity. Obscenity. Profanity.
Yep.
So like fuck.
Yep.
I just want to say it. And the reason why we're all here today, sex perversion.
Yeah, us bunch of pervert gays. So it had to go subtextual.
It had to go out. But then apparently these people that would watch the movies to check if it was okay, not that smart. So it was kind of somewhat easy to get in the subtext.
The subtext can be difficult, especially if you're too busy looking for if you see a toilet flushing.
Yes.
Because that is one thing that Alfred wasn't happy about with the Haze Code. If you're too busy concentrating on what a bathroom looked like, you might miss that there's actually a gay in this movie.
Yeah.
And
you're just worried about how if their boobs are covered or if you see anything you shouldn't, rather than, as we'll get to, people having conversations about your sexual preference.
And it's taken a long time for it to come to the forefront again.
Yeah.
In terms of...
What, subtext or...
Well, no, the gays.
Yeah.
I think a lot of films still have, maybe not so much recently, but certainly I think within our lifetime, there have been movies that could have had gay characters, but had gay subtext characters.
Well, yeah, I think it was still, 90s, early 2000s. It wasn't a mainstream thing.
No.
And it's still considered very, amazingly brave for a straight actor to play a gay character. I think they give out awards for it. Oh, yeah. It's called the Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's changing, though. As I think there's a bigger swell of gays should play gays.
There is. It'll always be a conversation. But anyway, that's another episode we could do fully talking about.
That's true.
But
So
I think there's different reasons for and versions of gay subtext.
yes.
Do
Do you know what I've found, though?
what?
I have found the official list
The official?
of gay subtext in film.
Who signed off on it? Elton John.
Well, it's posted on Letterboxd,
Oh, okay, great.
and Chris just did it.
Chris.
Chris, watermelon emoji. I don't know what that means. On Letterboxd, is a watermelon
I
a
don't
good
know.
thing?
I just track what I've watched.
He already has his honorary gay movies list. But they say, but I made that before I really got serious about gay subtext. So I mixed them together with movies that I claimed to be gay culture.
Yep, okay.
But this is the dedicated list of actual gay subtext because people apparently have been asking Chris for their recommendations.
Oh, yeah, Chris hasn't got back to me yet, so...
Well, his obviously inbox is full.
Yeah.
There are some, though, that are not... And this is one thing that the internet had a problem with in my research.
Okay.
Identifying the difference between gay subtext in a film and a film that appeals to gays.
Okay.
So, Chris in this list has
Hocus Pocus.
Charlie's Angels 1 and 2. Sorry, Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels 2 Full Throttle. I've seen both of those movies. There's no gay subtext. They're just strong, powerful women, and so it probably appeals to lesbians and gays. Because it's a bit campy.
It's campy. Yeah.
I don't think,
know
from
that's
my
subtext.
watching of it, there's any gay subtext in it. I think there's more chance that one of Elizabeth Banks' Charlie's Angels is a lesbian than Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, or Drew Barrymore.
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. But in
The
terms
character.
of style of the movie,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's more likely to be a thing.
Yep.
But again, I don't know if that's subtext because they're never in relationships in those movies. They're flirting with guys for...
ever a conversation of them, even flirting with each other.
No.
They're always on a mission. And it's not to get in each other's pants.
That is not true. I think it just appeals to a queer crowd.
Yeah.
I'm also putting that. I also found a list, right? And this is going to inform future Rainbow Popcorn episodes. The gayest movies that aren't actually gay.
Okay.
From Barbie to Burlesque to Venom and Roadhouse.
Burlesque.
So Burlesque isn't
It's
gay.
gay.
It's just camp. There's a gay character in it.
Yeah.
But it's not like the point of the movie.
No. The point of the movie is Cher takes Christina Aguilera under her wing. That's pretty gay.
Yeah, it's pretty appealing to the gays. It's not under her flumps. It's under her wing. Right? It's not gay.
Yuck.
This list has Death Becomes Her on it.
Camp.
9 to 5.
Camp.
Dolly. Sister Act.
Camp. Yeah.
Venom.
Isn't it bad?
It's not great. It's drawing a bit of a long bow in that saying it's queer coded because at first Tom Hardy hates Venom, but then eventually comes to accept and then love the symbiosis between them.
Oh, so it's Venom his gayness. Well, in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
No, I think they're partners.
But aren't they the same person?
It's a symbiotic thing. He meets Venom, hates him, accepts him, loves him, which is romance tropes.
Yeah.
And then at the end of one of the movies, I didn't read the article properly, Venom possesses some girl and then kisses Tom Hardy. Gay, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's a list that I will hold on to.
Okay, great.
For the future. But they're the two, I think, issues the internet that I have found with the internet in researching this is there's a difference between appealing to the gays and written with a gay subtext.
Yeah, and the other thing that some people I think don't quite understand is the meaning of subtext. So look, people on the socials appreciate your input, but Rocky Horror, not subtext, quite obvious.
Well, I think it's not as obvious as this person on Reddit replying to a thread looking for movies with homosexual subtext / that aren't explicitly gay but have some gay undertones between two men. This Redditor has suggested
Is that what they called a Redditor? Oh, like an editor, but with a Reddit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, wow.
This editor has suggested a film, I don't know.
Brokeback Mountain.
Yep.
Oh, but fuck, I was joking.
I had a whole build-up.
It's like the most famous gay movie ever.
I think some commenters are taking the piss while others are suggesting movies that are more bromances rather than what you're actually looking to find. Off the top of my head, I think American Beauty is a really great one. Also, check out Cruel Intentions. That's not... Oh, that's just... the girls pash and there's incest.
Yeah.
Which is sexual perversion also.
That's true.
And Brokeback Mountain. Probably the most explicit, but not egregious in its depiction of homosexuality.
But doesn't he say homosexual things between men? Well, that's what Brokeback Mountain is.
And then the reply says, haven't seen American Beauty or Cruel Intentions, but Brokeback is not subtext at all. It's right in your face
It's
text.
literally the storyline.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So... yeah, there are... I think Rocky Horror is more subtextual than Brokeback Mountain.
Yes.
But it's not...
because it had to be.
It's not... Ooh, I wonder if Frank's not straight.
Well, yeah, I think if anybody doing anything was like, oh, he's a bit queer. I think the song about the monster he made for himself to sleep with...
Yep.
Probably puts away any doubts.
Well, and the fact that he does have sex with Brad.
Yes.
And tells Janet.
Yeah.
Well, and he doesn't just say goodbye. He has a song and dance number.
Yeah.
To say goodbye.
Yeah. And as we've discussed in previous episodes, the gays love a song and dance.
The gays love a song and dance.
Look, so to some that are actual subtexty, right? And not... because there's also actual subtext.
Yes.
Of generally older movies, a lot of mine are older movies, that will shock no one, where it's in the novel, perhaps, or that it was based on, was more obvious and explicit, but they had to dull it down.
Yes.
To get it on the screen. And then there's other ones where there's not that much subtext there, but maybe the viewer is just looking harder because they want there to be subtext.
I feel like, no offense to any of them are listening, I feel like that's where Charlie's Angels might fit in for the lesbians.
Okay, yeah, okay, great. I understand that.
Why a number of Redditors have commented Fight Club.
He's just hot.
Yeah, there's no gay subtext. You just want to fuck Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah. And that'd be weird because it's himself. If the gay subtext was between two people, it would be Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. And
Spoiler
that's himself. Well, we shouldn't be even be talking about it.
That's true. And it's also, a 25-year-old movie.
Yeah.
If you don't know...
and if you don't know, Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
Yeah.
So, some of the older ones I have...
Can I just say one more that's on this official list?
Yeah.
Singing in the Rain. There's
No.
no subtext in that. It's just
No.
the gays love it.
There's what?
Donald
They say
O'Connor,
Donald O'Connor's like got the hots, and that's why he's a third wheel.
and that's why he's jealous. He's always hanging around.
Incorrect.
Also, one I actually want to really look at that's on this list, Jurassic Park 3, which I haven't
just
seen.
because Laura Dern's an icon. Is she even in the third one?
Probably not. Taya Leone is. Maybe that's
But
why.
I've heard that velociraptors are pretty promiscuous.
Wee.
I am promiscuous girl. Right, so oldies
That are subtextual.
are subtextual. Look, I said it when we said we were going to do it.
Oh, you said it quicker than anything.
Rope.
Okay. I'm going to add that because I agree with you, and it's probably the one on this list that I've seen.
They are 100% a couple.
Yep.
Nobody will convince me otherwise.
Do you think, or maybe you're about to say this, do you think the whole thing is an allegory for hiding their sexuality?
Well, they
They're
killed
not-
another male.
No,
I
they're
don't know
not
what that
hiding a
means.
body. They're hiding a
Oh.
secret.
Mm,
Alf, if you're listening
yeah,
from beyond,
yeah.
maybe we could co-host a podcast together, Alfred, talking about it.
That'd be great.
I'm putting that out there.
Okay, cool.
Any film studies students that are listening, it's also on the list for Rainbow Popcorn. We can discuss it then.
Yes. So they're definitely a couple,
Yep.
and Jimmy Stewart knows that.
That's the secret.
That they're a couple, but they did actually strangle someone
They
in
did
their
actually
living
kill a
room
man,
and
yeah,
then
but-
have a dinner party,
But also,
which is so gay.
Alfred Hitchcock couldn't make a movie because it would have been just as tense if their drag costumes were in that case. It's very tense, right?
Yeah,
I was trying to think of something.
that wasn't sex toys.
The first thought that
Yeah.
popped into my mind was, I've already said a couple of things that have disgusted you this episode. I didn't want to say a third one. If something that revealed their sexuality is in the bureau or wherever they put the
The
body,
Judy Garland collection.
would have given away the issue,
Yeah,
that would have been tense.
yeah, but
Because
yeah,
Yeah, the thriller isn't the murder. The thriller is the finding out of the suspense. is
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
finding
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So, but he couldn't make that the reveal.
Well, it was actually based on a true story of a couple of gay men.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Number
No
one.
questions.
You have seen some on this list.
Okay.
Actually, you know what I put on?
Apparently, according to one list I read, all about Eve. She a lesbian?
Well, there is a certain. You know what the other thing I found? There's a lot of obsession is then clouded with sexual.
The talented
intent.
Mr. Ripley.
Well, that's yep. The other one that kind of does that is Rebecca, but we won't go deep into that. But the old lady maid is obsessed with Rebecca, and she keeps all her clothes and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely crush
this
where
is,
there's shit going on there.
Where did I see the... oh, no, I can't find it now.
Great, that's good.
Sorry.
One you definitely have seen because we've done an episode on it.
Yep.
Spartacus.
Yeah. Is there gay subtext in that, or is there actually a gay?
There is. Look.
There were in those times.
Yeah, look, Laurence Olivier's character does need a new slave, I guess,
Yep.
and he goes to the lineup, and then he sees Tony Curtis, and he goes,
Yeah.
oh, actually, and what's this one? And Tony Curtis is Antoninus, a singer of songs. And then he goes, he's like, well, we can find a job for you.
I bet you
And
can.
go, what can he looks to his mate, and he's like, what can he do? What can he do? And then Laurence Olivier goes, you can be my body servant.
Oh.
Don't know what a body servant is, but then it's closely followed by a scene of Antoninus bathing him.
Yeah, there is the scene in the bath. That's what comes
Yeah.
to mind when you first mentioned Spartacus and the gayness.
And then he's like, there's this whole conversation of cuisine. And have you ever eaten snails? Or have you ever eaten oysters?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think that eating snails is wrong and eating oysters isn't? And which do you prefer? And then Laurence Olivier's like, FYI, I've eaten both. Just in case you need to know.
That conversation is giving Tiger King. You know in Tiger King.
Wow.
When
Laurence Olivier is just like, what?
No, when Joe Exotic picks up the hot one, gives him some meth, and then says to him, when you watch porn, do you watch the one with the big dicks or the small dicks? Have you ever tried dicks? And then, bang, husband number 4.
I don't remember.
All right.
But okay, glad that left an imprint on you.
If people will remember, and I feel people will be making those connections.
Yeah. So that was so much gay subtext for Hollywood that they cut that scene from their movie.
Ah.
So it's only in the director's cut.
It's only in the post-Haze Code cut.
Stanley Kubrick went, put on the DVD.
I'm sure he did.
He probably did.
What else have you got?
I have a few. A similar movie, Ben-Hur.
Okay.
Which a few people voted for on the socials, and I was like, I haven't seen it for a while. Let me look it up. And yeah. So Gore Vidal wrote the screenplay for Ben-Hur with the intention of suggesting that the rivalry between Ben-Hur and his mate Masala was because they had a fling when they were younger. And then they meet again. And he's like, after all these years, we're still close. And Ben-Hur's like, in every way. And then they have this weird stare at each other whilst drinking drinks at each other. And so Gore Vidal suggested this to the director, William Wyler, and was like, well, what if we play with this kind of thing to make it a bit more intense? And William Wyler was like, yes, tell that guy, don't tell Charlton Heston. He's not going to like it.
Yeah.
And then he eventually found out years later he fucking cracked the shits.
Yeah, Charlton was a traditional man.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. So we're adding Ben-Hur to the possible list as well.
Possible.
Do you want one from 1961?
Is it Judgment at Nuremberg?
No.
Is it West Side Story?
It's one called Night Tide that Grant commented on the socials.
That sounds... No offense, Grant. That sounds like a shit title. It's not your title, Grant, but I suggest you like the movie.
It's a 1961 American independent fantasy film, sometimes considered to be a horror film.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what Wikipedia said, not Grant. Starring Dennis Hopper.
Okay.
Quite a hunky Dennis Hopper, Grant said.
Okay.
But the plot is about a sailor who goes to...
Well, there you go. That's done.
Goes on shore leave and falls in love with Mora the mermaid, who she's a sideshow attraction.
Okay.
And then they break up. He's devastated. No, Mora kills someone.
Okay.
In there. I'm very trying to quickly summarize it.
Yeah.
And then Johnny turns to Captain Murdoch for support. Captain Murdoch appears brandishing a gun, admitting to Johnny that he killed Mora's boyfriend because he could not bear the thought of her leaving him. I don't know where the gay subtext is.
Okay. Is there some sort of... No, I don't get it. Maybe. Let's watch it. I'm sure it's available and streaming somewhere.
Well, I think it might be available for free on
YouTube.
On Wikipedia if I just click this link.
Yeah.
I think the movie is loading, but we won't watch it now.
Speaking of Dennis Hopper.
Yep.
Another movie he's in. Speed.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Rebel Without a Cause.
Okay. You know this inside out.
Yeah.
I, shock, never seen it.
Sal Minio's character, Plato, definitely has a crush on James Dean.
Okay. As you would.
And they mask it as like a... he just needs a friend and an older brother, father figure type. But he's like, no, we should move into this house. And then he befriends him at school, and then something happens. And then he's like, oh, I don't want to go to bed. Do you want to come to my place? He literally says that to him. And this kid's like 14. And then he has a picture of Alan Ladd in his school locker.
Oh, okay. So he's actually a lost little gay boy.
He's a lost little gay boy with no parents.
Yeah.
That he's the rebel. Because he has a cause. He's in a world that doesn't accept who he is. And that's why he's rebellious.
Yeah. But he couldn't have a cause because it's secretive.
And the screenwriter of that said that if he was writing it today, he would not be subtle. He would be like, they don't like him because he's gay.
Yeah.
End of story.
There's lots of stories like that. We haven't gotten to the big one yet. Well, there's two.
There's
right?
two.
My big editions, which are actually our podcast's big editions.
Oh, okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Because we decided at our live event that Freddy is Jesse's gayness trying to come out, and he is saved by the love of a good woman.
Yeah, there's also just plenty of gay subtext.
Or just a woman. There's also a gay character.
Uh-huh.
I still don't know if he's gay, though.
Or just into leather.
He goes to an S&M club, and it's just the high school boy that says queer S&M club.
Yep.
And kids say shit like that.
Yep.
Anyway, it's homo. And Interview with a Vampire.
Interview with a Vampire is on the list. It's going to be on there.
We don't need to discuss them because they are our previous 2 episodes to this.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to them. The IMDb list also has Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which is coming up in 3 weeks' time.
Is Obi-Wan Kenobi a gay?
2 Jedi escape a hostile blockade to find allies and come across a young boy who may bring balance to the Force. But the long-dormant Sith resurface to claim their original glory. Then, the comment, Jedis are starting to look a little like Plato's students.
Okay.
In the ancient Greek Plato,
Yeah,
not
Plato from
but also,
of course.
I feel like this is why the character might be named Plato. In the ancient Greeks, the younger man was often for the senior man.
This sounds like grooming, though.
If the toga fits,
Well,
if the sandal fits.
if the sandal fits.
That's what it says. Jedis are starting to look a little like Plato's students because you've got Liam Neeson,
Qui-Gon Jinn,
who picks a quite attractive young Ewan McGregor,
yeah,
who then picks more in the second one.
yeah. Okay.
Padawan is a quite attractive Hayden Christensen.
Well, he didn't pick him because of his acting ability. That's for
Oh.
sure. Yeah. Okay. It's a stretch.
I'm not adding it to the list.
Good.
But I'm mentioning it because in 3 weeks' time we're going to review it. And now that I've mentioned it, we might watch it a little bit differently.
Okay.
On this IMDb list, the number 1 is Top Gun. Side note, Top Gun, huge movie. What do you think its IMDb rating is?
7.8.
6.9.
I reckon the sequel is much higher than that.
Yep. The Top Gun Naval Fighter Weapons School is where the best of the best train to refine their elite flying skills. When hotshot fighter pilot Maverick is sent to the school, his reckless attitude and cocky demeanour put him at odds with the other pilots, especially the cool and collected Iceman. I don't know why I read the plot. You're listening to a movie
what
podcast.
Top Gun is.
You know what Top Gun's about. The comment is just volleyball, anyone.
Well, that's not gay subtext to me as much as it is homoerotic.
Well, and I think that falls in the bromance category.
Yeah, that's a bit more of the, could you imagine if they slept together.
No, but I also it's the bromance because through the movie there's huge bromance between Tom Cruise and Dr. Anthony Green.
Yeah.
And
Mark Green.
Damn
Anthony Edwards.
Damn it.
From ER, everybody.
Then
Val Kilmer's there.
Dr. Mark Green dies.
Yeah,
and
he does in ER too. Spoiler alert. He's about to die now. He's got a brain tumor. Go.
Okay. Then the bromance becomes between Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer.
Oh, and then does Mark Green get jealous?
He's dead.
Oh, after the dead.
After the dead, they have to do one more mission.
And Miles Teller's his son.
And Val Kilmer helps Tom Cruise even though they were rivals. Now they're bros and they hug and I cry.
And then they go to the naval base.
Then he goes and pashes on with
In
Kelly
the
McGillis.
Navy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stars, Tom Cruise, Tim Robbins, Kelly McGillis.
Tim Robbins.
Yeah. Not Anthony Edwards.
Val Kilmer.
Meg Ryan.
There's Meg Ryan in it.
Yeah, Meg Ryan plays the wife of Anthony Edwards, the mother of Miles Teller.
I haven't seen it. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a while.
But obviously, I don't know, Meg Ryan didn't make it for Top Gun Maverick. So I'm putting Top
Didn't have
Gun
much of a career.
in the bromance category.
Okay.
Along with one that came up on another list, Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Actually, no, that falls in the, wouldn't it be hot if they?
Okay.
Because there's a lot of shirtless Patrick Swayze fighting shirtless other men.
Right. I think that in that list of, wouldn't it be hot if they is Magic Mike as well? Because I saw that on a few lists. I'm like, there's no gay subtext here. They're just hot dancers.
They're just hot guys dancing.
None of them are actually gay. Not even the gay one.
So, yeah, I'm not adding either of those to the list. A couple of lists also said the Fast and Furious franchise, but that is bromance.
Bromance.
Not wouldn't they be hot if they... Someone had Saltburn on their list. No.
You cannot put
That bathtub
Saltburn
scene.
on any list that involves some form of subtlety.
No.
I'm going to watch it again. Because what was I watching? And one of the guys in... I watched Midsummer. We need to discuss.
Oh, finally. Far out.
I shouldn't have watched it before I went to bed.
Yeah.
Speaking of bath scenes...
No, I think Saltburn falls in the obsession category that you mentioned before.
I think...
Because he's not...
Yes.
He's not straight.
So...
But he's not gay.
I think
he's just obsessed.
So, because Saltburn is basically the talented Mr. Ripley, talented Mr. Ripley is obsession.
Yep.
But then Saltburn is like that next step further where obsession becomes...
Lust.
Yes. Whereas Matt Damon just wants to get in the bath with Jude Law. He's human. I completely understand.
He doesn't want to drink the bath water.
He doesn't want to... Yeah.
And associated additions.
Yeah.
So are we putting Ripley in a gay subtext?
I think there's plenty of gay subtext in talented Mr. Ripley.
Okay. Are we... Speaking of Ripley's...
Believe it or not.
People have said it about Alien. That Sigourney's not straight.
Is that just because she's got a haircut that is a bit more on the less feminine side?
Well, I also think it's just a bit of like a strong woman thing.
Isn't she just on a spaceship trying to defeat an alien, though? Why are they reading that much into it?
Because...
She doesn't sleep with the girl from The Birds that's in it.
Tippi Hedren.
No. You know the girl, you know in The Birds?
Oh, yeah.
The guy's daughter, the girl.
Yes.
The blonde one.
Yeah.
She's in Alien.
As an adult, obviously.
As an adult, yeah.
It was 20 years later.
She's still 11. Yeah.
No, she doesn't sleep with her. I think going back a little bit to what you started the episode with, it's us as queers didn't have a lot of movies for a long time.
Yeah.
So we read into a lot. And that's what initially I thought was going to be the case with Nightmare 2. And then I watched it.
Yeah. And it's like
what I thought it was...
I don't have to look that hard here.
What I thought it was like, yes, Johnny Depp in a crop top in 1983 looked hot, and the gays liked that.
Uh-huh.
I thought maybe they've taken that and added more of that into Nightmare 2, but no,
Yes.
they just made a gay movie.
Yeah. And it's also, like you said, making movies that appeal to gays. Because somewhere someone was like, we can tap into this market. Share. So I think she did it first, and then plenty of pop girlies have followed. That's why they're still singing in Victoria's Secret fashion show.
That's why Kylie Minogue tickets are $500.
Yeah. That's why Lady Gaga exists.
Yep.
Actually, no, she's talented.
It's why
That's
people...
why Danny Minogue exists.
It's why people will wait 3.5 hours for Madonna to be late at a concert.
Yes. I wouldn't.
I would.
So
She's also shit, apparently, now.
the other one that's 80s, and I watched it somewhat recently and didn't get that much of a gay vibe from it.
Yeah.
Lost Boys?
Yes, because that was on the potential list for Halloween of Rainbow Popcorn.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of guys. And really...
It's just vampires.
But we just did Interview with the Vampire and decided all vampires were bi
Yeah.
or pan.
Yeah.
These aren't.
No, they just are hooligans.
They're just hooligans, and they're just reasonably good-looking guys.
And Kiefer Sutherland. Yeah.
And sometimes have their jackets open and no shirt underneath.
Yeah.
And they all hang out in a cave.
Yeah.
I've been a gay for a long time. I've never hung out in a cave with my mates.
You know who might be gay and there's subtext and hangs out in a cave? Batman.
No.
I want to add on the list anything with Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin. So, not the movie.
Just their relationship.
As his ward.
Yes.
Do you think it's giving
Plato
Ben-Hur
student
and Spartacus vibes?
It's a Plato student.
Plato student
If
vibes.
recruited it, no, I'm not going to use that terminology. That sounds really bad.
Yeah, no, you already mentioned the Catholic Church once this episode.
Didn't. Oh, no, I did. Sorry. No, I thought that because we were talking about grooming, so that's why I thought you brought it up. Yeah,
so long ago. One that is on the list, I think is just wrong, is Hot Fuzz.
No, there's no gay subtext.
This is another
That's
Redditor.
just a bromance.
The movie was originally written to have a female love interest for Nicholas Angel. Mm-hmm. When they cast Nick Frost, they found that he was too perfect for the role, so they added him in and kept much of the dialogue from the original love interest character. Then the reply is just like, it's just bromance.
It's bromance, and there's just one scene where they're having a D&M. And he's like, you just got to switch off. That's it.
Yeah, but that's just like drunk bromance chat.
Yeah.
I just think, without tarring a lot of people with a big brush, some people
Clutching at straws.
not so secure in their heterosexuality are scared of bromance.
Yeah.
So they put bromance in the gay character.
Category. I've got one more.
Okay.
Tell me if it falls into bromance or they may have been in a relationship.
Yeah.
My Fair Lady.
Because he doesn't remake Eliza to wife him.
No, it just kind of ends up that way, which is a terrible ending. It's just a bet between two middle-aged bachelors
that live
to
together.
make over a woman.
Are you saying this is the historian's quote, and they were roommates?
Yes, because they were. They lived together, and they, speaking of song and dance,
Yeah,
well,
okay.
Rex Harrison could do neither, sing nor dance, but he was still in it.
And Audrey could only do one.
Yes.
Thank goodness for Julie.
Yeah. I'm not expecting it to be on the list. I just wanted to put it in.
I'm going to give it an honourable mention.
Okay, honourable mention to My Fair Lady.
Because also, yeah, elocution lessons aren't super straight.
Yeah.
No offence to any elocution teachers that are listening.
And then she walked out of there and her lisp, so strong.
We have anything else?
Anything with a woman in it?
I haven't seen The Craft.
The Craft is kind of... There's subtext in The Craft.
I have only watched one episode of Agatha all along.
That's not subtext. It's good. Black Swan,
Black Swan, I don't know well enough.
I think there is subtext, but it almost falls in the
Obsession.
Well, it almost falls in the Fight Club category because it's kind of she's messed up in the head.
Messed up in the head, but it's also like, oh, wouldn't it be hot if Natalie and Mila fucked?
And then they almost do.
Was it almost
go
Antonio Banderas kissed?
No,
Almost Brad Pitt.
they kissed and then she went down on
Oh,
it.
they almost
But
filleted.
was it real?
Oh.
Almost filleted.
Well, if it's a was it real, but there was actual Congress,
Well, it's not subtexty.
that's
then.
not subtext.
No.
Sorry. Fried green tomatoes we haven't seen,
No,
but I
haven't
think
seen
it's just a womance.
Okay, that's a woman romance.
Yeah?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
I want to watch Jurassic Park 3 and find a gay subtext in it.
Okay. It's Laura Dern.
It's got William H. Macy in it. Sam
Oh,
Neill,
no, he's all right.
William H. Macy, Taya Leone, Alessandro Nivola. Then it just... Oh, no, Laura Dern is in it.
Taya Leone. Wow.
Do you know who's not in it?
From A League of Their Own.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. He gets replaced. Cool.
You know something about League of Their Own? Laurie Petty was faster than Gina Davis. So when they made the movie,
Yep.
she had to run slow but look like she was running fast to try and keep up with her big sister.
Well, the acting in that movie is just elite, and that's just part of it. It's a perfect movie.
Any subtext in there?
Rosie O'Donnell's in it.
Laurie Petty's character could be not straight.
No, she's very much into men.
Oh, she is too, yeah. Again,
no,
I don't want to stereotype.
You know what?
There's-
A League of Their Own, there kind of is. Because, Rosie O'Donnell's like, no man wants me.
Yeah.
I could only get the shit ones because I play baseball. I
could only get the shit ones, like 4 weddings and a funeral. She's like, I don't want Bernard, and Bernard wants me. But then we're married 2 months later.
Yeah.
Okay, lesbians, if you're listening,
Yeah, we need to be better.
we don't mean to offend, but please get in contact and broaden our horizons of lesbian subtext films. And also, is there lesbian subtext in the Charlie's Angels movie and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle?
It's Cruel Intentions.
It's not subtext, they pash.
Yeah, that's true.
I think she's just horny for everyone.
She's just horny. Yeah.
Her brother, her friend,
Yeah.
the chick that's on the picnic blanket next to her, anyone.
Yeah.
All right, our list so far
Okay.
has in it Rope, Spartacus, Ben-Hur. These are in chronological order almost. Rope, Spartacus, Ben-Hur, Rebel Without a Cause, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Interview with the Vampire, The Talented Mr. Ripley, and anything with Batman and Robin in it.
I'm happy to just give Batman and Robin an honourable mention.
It's campy as camp.
I think if I'm saying 1, 2 that have to be on there
Yep.
is Interview with the Vampire
Yes.
and Rope.
And Rope. Is Rope higher than Interview? I think Rope's higher than Interview.
It's higher because it's more subtextual.
Okay.
Whereas, like,
Tom Cruise is clearly bi.
and
Interview with the
Antonio
Vampire.
Banderas in that movie is clearly gay.
Yep. Okay.
Or just into Brad Pitt.
Is not... See, Nightmare is gayer than Rope, but less subtextual.
It's also just a bad movie. I will say that again. Please don't gasp, everyone.
Okay, so Nightmare on Elm Street 2 goes below Interview with the Vampire.
Rebel,
Without a Cause,
yeah.
above Rope,
No.
above
I'm
Nightmare.
tempted to say Rope is number 1.
Rebel, though, from what you've said, Rebel Without a Cause.
But Rope's reciprocated.
Okay, Rope, number 1.
Interview number 2.
Interview with the Vampire, number 2. Rebel Without a Cause,
Number 3.
number 3. Talented Mr. Ripley's an honourable mention. Spartacus or Ben-Hur?
They're the same movie.
So, Nightmare on Elm Street 2,
Should we put that at 5?
I was going to put that as 4
Okay.
because it's less subtexty than Spartacus and Ben-Hur.
Yes, but also...
It's not as good a movie.
And also,
gayer.
it's like if I'm talking Spartacus, it's almost just one scene.
Okay, so Nightmare 2, number 4, and Ben-Hur, number 5, because it's in more than one scene than Spartacus. Spartacus
So what's number 3? Rebel.
Rope.
Interview
with the Vampire.
Yep.
Rebel Without a Cause.
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Ben-Hur.
Spartacus. Ripley, The Talented Mr. Ripley, not the TV series.
No.
And My Fair Lady are honourable mentions.
Great.
Yeah?
That's a pretty good list.
There's... That's all. That's a watchable list.
I mean, they're on the list.
That's one of our most watchable lists, I reckon.
And I've seen them all, so that's new.
I have seen 4, but I've only seen Ben-Hur once because it's a bloody whole day production.
It's okay.
Ooh, controversy.
It has it was wow, Ben-Hur. There's better movies.
Speaking of gay movies, tickets are on sale for...
Speaking of movies that there are better of then.
Can't Stop the Music.
Yep.
Is coming up for Rainbow Popcorn Live. That has
a laugh riot.
Straight subtext, I'm going to say.
Yeah, there's a lot of gay with some straight.
Well, no, I think it's like in some of these ones, you're watching them and they're like, oh, are they meant to be gay? There were points when we pre-watched Can't Stop the Music, I was like, oh, are they meant to be straight?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I get what you mean.
Straight subtext.
Yeah, straight subtext.
Tickets on sale now for Rainbow Popcorn Live, Can't Stop the Music at Pride of Our Footscray, 7th of November, Thursday night. Doors open at 6:30.
Can't wait.
Come along, get some rainbow popcorn and get a Village
Special
People-y
cocktail.
inspired cocktail, which will be sweet.
It's going to have a 5 different ingredients. Oh, how many people are in the Village People? Like 7 or
5 to 7.
Depends on the
Plus
year.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Plus
plus
that woman.
The woman that wants
Plus
to fuck
Steve
them all.
Guttenberg.
Plus Steve Guttenberg, who cannot dance. Spoiler. Get your tickets in the link on the episode description or head to prideofOurFootscray.bar to their events page and you can get the tickets there. Next up after that, we are reviewing Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yep.
Can I suggest next month's top 5?
Yes.
I think I want to do top 5
Jar Jar
band
Binks
movies.
Band movies.
Movies where the band stars in it.
Did the Cantina Band?
No.
Oh.
Not to do with Star Wars. To do with Can't Stop the Music. Top 5 movies where the band is in it.
Right? Club 7 had a TV show, not a movie.
So there is something to think about between now and the next month. So that's it.
Okay, great.
For top 5 movies with gay subtext: Rope, Interview with the Vampire, Rebel Without a Cause, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and Ben-Hur. Thanks for listening to another episode of To Drink Cinema. Make sure you get your tickets for Rainbow Popcorn Live. Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Lick. Cheers. Thanks for listening to To Drink Cinema. We would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which this podcast was produced and pay our respects to elders past and present.
If you'd like to support the podcasts, either leave a tip or become a member for early access to these episodes by using the link in the show notes.
Join the Facebook group for more chat about the movies we review and make sure you follow us on the socials to keep up to date.
Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your podcast app.
Happy viewing and drink responsibly.